By killing the you become a hero in the Muslim world.
Jeffrey Sterling has been found guilty on all 9 counts he was facing. In fact, here's a picture of Sterling leaving the courthouse today in Alexandria, Virginia, shortly after the jury announced their decision. Sterling is a former CIA officer accused of sharing classified information with New York Times reporter James Risen. The 9 counts that he faced included unauthorized disclosure of national defense information and obstruction of justice for allegedly leaking materials that prosecutors said put lives at risk and compromised one of the U.S. government's few mechanisms to deter Iran's nuclear aspirations. For his part, Sterling had claimed his innocence, and the New York Times reporter James Risen has refused to give him up as a source.
Earlier today, shortly before the jurors' lunch break, they had passed along a note to the judge in the case saying that the jurors simply couldn't agree on several of the counts against Mr. Sterling. Now, it's unclear which specifically those counts, which of the 9 counts against Mr. Sterling these jurors couldn't agree on. But what we do know is that last week, when the jurors were being given instructions on how to deliberate for this verdict, it was clear that they were expected to come up with a unanimous decision on every one of those counts. Mr. Sterling was facing, of those 9 counts, they ranged from obstruction of justice to the unauthorized disclosure of sensitive information pertaining to that top secret CIA program involving faulty nuclear secrets to the state of Iran through a Russian scientist working in collaboration with U.S. national intelligence. Now, throughout the course of this trial, Mr. Sterling, as well as his defense, have maintained that amidst the various theories that the prosecution had, amidst the CIA's characterization of Jeffrey Sterling as a disgruntled employee hell-bent on making the CIA look bad, keep in mind that prior to this case, Mr. Sterling had a pending racial discrimination lawsuit against the CIA. But the defense said that amidst all of these theories and this characterization, what the government, what the prosecution really lacked was any direct evidence linking Jeffrey Sterling to that classified information that made its way into journalist James Risen's book, State of War. Now, let's be clear about one thing, though, Ben, that Jeffrey Sterling did blow the whistle on this top secret information when he spoke to members of the U.S. House Intelligence Committee.
The leftist anti-austerity Syriza party has swept to victory in Greece. Syriza won 149 seats in the 300-seat parliament, too short of an absolute majority. This marks the first time since the economic crisis in 2009 that a member of the 19-nation Eurozone will be led by a party rejecting German-backed austerity. The head of the Syriza party, Alexis Tsipras, will become Greece's new prime minister.
Greece is turning a page. Greece is leaving behind catastrophic austerity. It is leaving behind the fear and the autocracy. It is leaving behind 5 years of humiliation and pain. Today, there are no winners and losers. Today, Greece's elite and Greece's oligarchs were defeated.
The Greek people have spoken, and we all respect their decision. My conscience is clear. I took over a country on the edge of catastrophe. I had to handle hot coals. Most people said we wouldn't make it, but we did, and we avoided the worst. I hand over a country that is a member of the European Union and the Euro.
Here in the
For the good of the
United
country,
States,
I hope the next
independent Senator Bernie Sanders praised the election of Syriza. He said, quote, "The Syriza victory in the Greek elections tell us that people around the world will no longer accept austerity for working families while the rich continue to get richer." In Egypt, at least 17 people were killed on Sunday in Egypt's bloodiest protest since Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came to power as security forces fired at protesters, marking the anniversary of the 2011 uprising that toppled dictator Hosni Mubarak. Riot police backed by soldiers and armored vehicles sealed off roads, including those leading to Cairo's Tahrir Square. Riot police with rifles and plainclothes men with pistols were seen chasing protesters through the streets of Cairo. The heaviest death toll was in the Cairo suburb of Mataria, a Muslim Brotherhood stronghold where 8 people, including 1 policeman, were killed. On Saturday, Shaima Asaba, a leading member of the Socialist Popular Alliance Party, was shot dead at a protest near Tahrir Square. Video and photos of the shooting went viral across Egypt. Meanwhile, two sons of Hosni Mubarak were released from prison today, nearly 4 years after they were first arrested along with their father. Last week, an Egyptian court ordered their release pending their retrial in a corruption case.
Boko Haram launched a large-scale attack on two northern cities in Nigeria Sunday, the same day Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in the country. The Nigerian military says it repelled an attack on the city of Maiduguri early Sunday morning, but the fate of nearby town Monguno is unclear, as officials told Voice of America that Boko Haram took over the military barracks there. Maiduguri has often been the target of Boko Haram attacks, including 2 suicide bombings in the city earlier this month that were carried out by young girls and killed dozens. The attacks came just a day after Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan visited Maiduguri in the heart of Boko Haram's area of operations and promised to defeat the group. Jonathan is up for re-election next month and was back in Lagos Sunday to greet Kerry. Kerry is expected to urge Jonathan and his opponent, retired General Muhammadu Buhari, to work for fair elections and to respect the outcome, with timing key in the face of the Boko Haram threat.
Well, the FBI have confirmed that they managed to shut down a spy ring of Russian spies operating in New York, consisting of 3 men. What's interesting, though, that there's only 1 man arrested in New York, a member of this alleged spy ring, Yevgeny Buryakov, who, as FBI believe, have been working for a Russian bank in Manhattan and in the meantime was gathering economic intelligence and, as FBI believes, also recruiting NYC citizens to be part of that ring. The other 2 alleged spies, Igor Sporoshev and Viktor Podobny, they have already left the United States, and the FBI claimed that those 2 have had diplomatic immunity while they were working on the territory of the United States. Of course, it is not the first time that a spy scandal happens here. Remember, 2010, one of the biggest spy exchanges since the Cold War, when 10 Russians were accused of spying and were expelled from the United States. Although in this particular case, it's too early to say anything, because we understand that the man, the only man of this alleged spy ring, will face a trial on next Monday, and that's when we'll know more details about that. There haven't been any comments coming from the Russian officials on the matter so far yet, but of course we're keeping this story in our crosshairs, and we'll update our viewers with the latest details.
Creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers. Creepy crawlers are so much fun, playing gags on everyone. All you need to make a bug is a thing maker set and electric plug, or plastic goop right in the mold. Then trade 'em, sell 'em, good as gold. You can tell they're Mattel. They're creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers.
First who reports on that, and now I'm kind of suffering the consequences.
The Jewish journal is credited with breaking news of the death of an Argentinian special prosecutor has fled to Israel. Damian Pachter says he was being followed and feared for his life. Prosecutor Alberto Nisman was found dead in his apartment on January 18 with a single gunshot wound to the head. He died hours before he was due to testify over allegations he made that the country's president conspired to derail his investigation into the 1994 bombing of a Jewish community center in Buenos Aires. Nisman's death was initially ruled a suicide, but the government now says it suspects rogue intelligence agents were behind his murder. Pachter says that if he ever does return to Argentina, it won't be under its current leaders.
Human rights groups are urging the new king to pardon dissident blogger Raif Badawi, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 1,000 lashes for charges including insulting Islam. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has ordered the first group of about 100 U.S. troops, mostly special operations forces, to head to the Middle East to establish training sites for Syrian opposition fighters. Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia have offered sites to hold those trainings.
Castle's almost finished, Your Majesty.
Good. Reserve the dungeon for yourself.
Here's the enchanted tower.
This is her second childhood today.
Hungry, Morris?
Lower the drawbridge. I'm leaving.
Don't be finicky. There's 9 lives.
Hark, the sea winds bring a message.
Liver and chicken, savory stew.
9 lives savory stew.
9 lives, nutritious foods cats really like, even Morris.
Only fit for a king, 9 lives.
They want your sweet, innocent girls to take to booze so they can be enticed into honky-tonks by slick-haired vultures who prey on the flower of American womanhood. I say alcohol must go.
Every day, Kara Salemi has to count out the nearly 24 pills her son needs to control his unpredictable seizures, but even that many has not stopped them.
Every time we give him medication, we just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Kara is convinced the right thing now for her son Jackson is oil derived from the marijuana plant, a form of medical marijuana that looks like this.
I'm just a regular mom with a child that I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get him the best medicine possible.
Last year, Kara was picked to sit on a committee to help design a medical marijuana pilot program. Former Governor Tom Corbett wanted to study the effects of marijuana oils on children suffering from seizures. But Kara says the committee met just once in September.
Just knowing from kind of an inside perspective that it wasn't going anywhere, just frustrating, absolutely devastating.
But Dr. Carrie DeLone, the former physician general in the Corbett administration, says the program was still in development.
It takes a lot of time. It's a very difficult process.
She thought the clinical trials could start within 4 to 6 months, but with Corbett no longer in office, she's not sure the pilot program still has support.
We knew that the process was not complete, so that unless the Wolf administration picks up the ball, it's not going to continue.
For its part, the Wolf administration says it's reviewing the program, and unlike Corbett, Governor Wolf supports legalizing medical marijuana.
Google's revealed it secretly gave the U.S. government the email messages and metadata of 3 members of the whistleblowing organization WikiLeaks: investigations editor Sarah Harrison, section editor Joseph Farrell, and spokesperson Christine Fromsen, a longtime Icelandic journalist. The U.S. government requested the information in 2012 as part of an alleged conspiracy and espionage investigation targeting WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. President Obama has announced a plan to designate 12 million acres in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge as wilderness in an effort to ban oil and gas drilling in the area.
Robin Wilkins says she was so shocked, she snapped a pic of the brake lights in this Durham School Services bus at a stop in Cordova.
Anyone who fears a God, if not God and Jesus Christ, should be outraged.
Wilkins says it's appalling the brake lights are shaped like a pentagram. A pentagram is an upside-down 5-pointed star. Merriam-Webster says the pentagram is often used as a magic or religious symbol.
If you can't put a cross on there, you cannot put a pentagram on it.
She points out just last month, Walgreens pulled wrapping paper from its shelves because the images appear to be swastikas.
Would we allow a swastika, for instance, to be on the back of the bus?
We asked unsuspecting people what they think.
People should be upset if that is against their feelings, religions, etc.
And what they see.
I see a light.
Even if they did only see a brake light, they still had questions.
Why they put it up there? Why they got it like that upside down?
Joe Applewhite has been practicing Wicca 16 years.
Is that a pentagram? Technically, yes.
She says the pentagram is their cross or Star of David.
Wiccan, we believe in God, we believe in Jesus. We don't call him God.
She won't deny the symbol is used by Satanists, but says it is also used for good.
Find out what it really means before you start getting all riled up and worked up about something.
She wonders if people are making a whole lot of something out of nothing.
Hey, go find out if it was intentional.
Either way, Wilkins says the lights send the wrong signal, and she wants them changed.
To be replaced with just solid light.